robbed? How did Rob do?
Robbed.
How?
Robbed. The worst system to come to football, VAR, is ruining the game. Again and again and again, time after time, we're seeing this. Referee goes to look at a review, changes his mind, makes a poor decision. I'm fully in agreement with Rio Ferdinand, Owen Hargreaves and Michael Owen and Gary Lineker in studio who say that cannot be a penalty kick.
I'm not sure. We also had Champions League last week and we had Europa League last week.
You remember that?
Ramone made a prediction. And I know you like to tell the listeners, the viewers, how you're always right. Man United play PSG.
Yeah.
You were wrong. How do you explain that? Can you tell me that you're just, I'm just right. I just make all these correct predictions. You're wrong.
Well,
you were also wrong.
Oh no, but we know I'm wrong. We know I'm
he's
wrong.
always wrong.
He's
always
I'm always wrong.
I mean, my problem was I should have gone against you. That was my issue. I should have gone against when you said you were out and you're playing it down. We're gonna go out. I just want to see a good performance. Blah 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 blah. I should have gone. You know what? I gotta go against you. I didn't, and that was my fault. That was my fault, and I hold my hands up. I said, you know what? I shouldn't listen to you anymore. And I had to go with my gut.
Listen to me. You thought we were out, and then everyone thought we were out. I'm not gonna pin that on you because for me that's an understandable prediction. It's just that you like to pin other, I was right, you're wrong. I'm just saying, isn't it?
I've had a good record this season, but it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. PSG got robbed, is it?
Right.
It's not my
you say
fault,
you had a good
bro.
record, but half your predictions don't happen on the pod. It just happens in your head because you weren't on the pod the previous week. But Manchester United, no one expected that, and we've been robbed. How did Rob do?
Robbed.
How?
Robbed. The worst system to come to football, VAR, is ruining the game. Again and again and again, time after time, we're seeing this. Referee goes to look at a review, changes his mind, makes a poor decision. I'm fully in agreement with Rio Ferdinand, Owen Hargreaves and Michael Owen and Gary Lineker in studio who say that cannot be a penalty kick.
I'm not sure Gary Lineker really said that to me. He was more presenting, but please.
Nah, he kind of looked at it. He looked at Rio.
Because he would not.
Rio looked at him and said, listen, Gary, I mean, you know.
No, actually,
Gary,
what
you know.
he said, it is a penalty more because obviously as a striker bias, I think he was more saying it.
But he knew in his heart of hearts. And, some say it's dubious or what. For me,
Did he make himself bigger? Why is he jumping? No, because truth be told, I know you say, his arm was in a natural position, but equally,
I didn't say that, yeah.
you said it. You said it. We've had conversations before, and I'm trying to move this discussion on in it, but arm in natural position. I mean, if I do a star jump, my arm's in natural position as well for a star jump. But I shouldn't be doing a star jump in the penalty area. Why is man jumping and turning his back? So yeah, his arm is in that position for what he's done, but does it mean that his arm should be there? I remember the Koscielny girl, and I can't believe.
What, Burnley?
Yeah, I can't believe Ramone backed it. Man's like, what happened now? The ball carrier.
It was Superman punching the
Superman
punching into the
ball, I think he went to shoot and it just didn't happen. And the ball kind of bounced up because he was leaning back. His arm was up or something like that.
Naturally.
And his arm went in. And I'm like, he's hit the ball in there. Yeah, but because he's leaning back, his arm is naturally there. But wait, I don't care. You shouldn't be doing that then. Whatever he's doing to get his arm up there, whether it's natural or unnatural, it shouldn't be. So equally, and you backed it. And I'm so glad they changed the rule now that from as of next year, if you score with your arm, whether it's deliberate or not, or your arm, like, let's say what Henry did, that led direction to a goal against Ireland for France, where you controlled it in the past, that would be ruled out because you just can't use your arm in the area, deliberate or not, for a goal. Kimpembe, his arm may have been in a natural position for what he did. But the question is, what he did, is that a natural position for a defender to be in? Turn his back and his arms out. Stand up and face and block it with your feet
you can't tell someone you're not allowed to turn your back on a goal. Like,
but if you do, you run the risk of It's like if I slide, you can't tell you can't slide, but if you slide and your arm behind you and it hits your hand, you can't say you can't slide, but you run the risk of blocking it with your hand.
But regardless, if he went for that ball with his head and he raised his arm to go head it and he misses his head and he goes on, you say you run the risk. But
yes,
anyhow you go to check block the ball, you run the risk.
Correct.
So in any move you make in football towards the ball, you run the risk.
Correct.
But for me,
he made the decisions they're given.
He made
you
the
run the
decision
risk of fouling someone and you go in with your studs, and if you happen to catch them, you get a red card.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is where for me where the rules are up and down. Are you saying because at one point the rules saying your hand you can't make yourself bigger, but on the other hand you're saying but if your hand in a natural position then it's okay because your hand is naturally in that position. Well, what are you trying to say?
The thing is, I don't think the rule even says anything about that. It's about at the moment. It's all about interpretation right now because at the moment it's more if it's deliberate. The referees have been told it's going to be changed literally in the rule book. Hasn't the referee been told as a directive that if a player makes themselves bigger, i.e. a harder obstacle to get past, and it hits their arm, to give a penalty. So for me, I'm saying the referee's seen that and said he has intentionally made himself bigger. Not intentionally handballed the ball, as in I move my hand towards it, but his movement, which wasn't, no one pushed him, he intentionally jumped, and by doing that, he's made himself bigger. Equally, if I jump like that, and I need to use that to leap, to get leverage, you intentionally do it. No one forced you to, and it hit your hand. So, for me, if it happened against my team, I'm upset, and I might be saying, oh, cheat, da 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 da. But in the cold light of day, it wasn't going in, no. But the man blocked a shot in the area of his arm. I mean, he blocked a shot in the area of his arm. It has to be a penalty.
Nah.
It has to be.
I just can't agree with that.
Next season you're going to see all the time. Because no VAR or not, because of the rules are changing, you're going to see it.
Maybe so. But I'm just with one of the greatest defenders of all time, Rio Ferdinand. I'm in the same position as him and saying...
Patrick Evra didn't agree with Rio.
Well, Patrick Evra was in the stadium cheering the goal.
Exactly, so I love this game.
But listen, I'm just on the same opinion. And I'm with... When Rio said, no one can ever change my mind, no one can ever change my mind. It's all personal opinion, isn't it? The same way I didn't think the handball in the World Cup final was a handball. Some argued that it was because, his hand was raised and slightly higher than it should have been or whatever.
And blocked the header that was.
But for me,
I can't remember exactly.
For me, I think the rules have changed a lot. Gary Lineker's basically saying we should all just say if it hits your hand, it's handball no matter what, regardless. But you do that, you get players that will try and flick balls into people's hands, and the game will start to change. People will intentionally try to make a man handball it to get a penalty or whatever. I think, but
then distance come into it, which is what Peter Wharton in the BT studio said. He was far enough away. It wasn't like he was 2 yards away. Man's a distance away, and I guess when you slow things down, it looks worse than it actually is. So I would need to see it again in full time, but I probably won't go and watch it. Where it's like it looks down, and then so it's like he sees where the ball's going, and kind of keeps his arm in the position of the ball and turns away. That's what we're looking at it slow.
No, we're looking at it too deep. But he banged the shot from 30 yards. The ball would have been 0.2 seconds before it hit his arm. No, it's not like it was a long ball coming in the air and it's gone and hit it. But
but remember, these things happen quick. You drive. When you're driving, things happen so quick, but you process it. Everything so much things in a split second. So if you see a ball coming, sometimes you would play football, the ball coming and it comes at speed, but you can see the direction it is, and you make a little movement. And think, let me just try and get it with my shoulder, but if it don't, my arm's there to block it. Yeah. And so it's coming at whatever distance and whatever speed. He can still make a conscious decision in a split second to I'm not moving my arm out of the way. I'm just gonna turn and make sure that somehow I block it.
But I mean, that's interpretation.
Of course, so I can understand why the referee gave it.
But you can also say in the same breath, it sometimes happens in football where a ball hits your hand and you don't even know that it's even going to hit it in that instance. So
But I'm saying, if it was against me, I'll be pissed off. But I understand, especially how the game has developed. I understand why the referee gave it.
I can't understand it.
Well, you saw the World Cup final, so how can you not understand how he gave it?
I think there's a wrong decision there and a wrong decision now.
But you must understand that now.
I understand that was a mistake.
But you said, I'm saying, so you understand how referees are processing handballs?
No, I have no idea.
But they're processing it differently.
I think they're just giving every handball that any ball hits a hand.
Therefore, you must understand why he gave it, because it hit his hand there.
No,
whether you agree with it or not.
No, because not all referees are doing it. If every referee was given the same decision for any ball hitting a hand, then
most VARs are in the penalty area. Like that.
I don't know. Well, I mean, the referee didn't even see it in real time, and VAR just, it's ruining the game. It is what it is. It's ruining the game, and this is going to be football for you. Game's ruining is what it is.
Well, Man United's through, innit? That's the important thing. Cal, did you catch the Thursday game?
I did.
The Farmers.
It was
the Farmers.
It was
I told you, League One's not Farmers. League One is not Farmers.
It is.
Would it not? 10th place.
Wait, that same team that PSG beat 7-1.
But PSG are very good too.
Farmers.
That Man United beat, and those Farmers beat Arsenal.
Farmers League, man.
But how can you say that? Leon slapped up Man City this year, and they got a draw away at Barca.
There's a difference between slapping up and Man City letting them slap them up.
They didn't let them.
They did.
Memphis Depay
They did.
slapped them up.
They did.
And then Rennes had Arsenal, and they taught them a lesson in football. Hatem Ben Arfa. Salah? No, not Salah. What's his name?
I wouldn't say a lesson in football. A lesson in football is what Dusan Tadic did to Real Madrid.
It's true.
A lesson in football.
What's the guy who's refereeing the
Salah. I think it's Salah.
Is it Salah?
S-A-L-A. Yeah, Salah.
What's your thoughts on that one?
Listen. Got a man sent off. Head's gone. And team played poor. It happens, isn't it? Football, I mean, we dominated the game up until the red card. Iwobi's brilliant finesse. Sarr. Okay.
Yeah.
Iwobi's brilliant finesse shot from the left-hand side.
Cross.
Shot. Finessed it into the bottom corner. Brilliant goal.
It definitely was a cross.
No, it was a shot, man. But, I mean, I can see the way you think that because of the way you bent it round. I can see why you'd think it was a cross, but actually, it was actually perfectly timed shot from Iwobi, and he was actually brilliant in the game. I'm not quite sure why he was taken off, but and then obviously you've got the red card, and the team fell apart. Really. I completely agree. Capitulated, dropped off, fell off. Couple of individual errors. Monreal was guilty for at least the first goal, if not the second, for not tracking back. And I think Emery has to take the blame as well for trying to defend, not even a lead at the time because it was 2-1 down, to try and taking off Aubameyang to bring on Ramsey and to try to see the game out. And I just feel like when you did that, as soon as you did that, I thought you're letting them come on to us now. You're taking off your striker, bringing on a centre midfielder to play cam/striker because you've got to play less. You're just letting them come onto you because there's no outlet going. The ball goes upfield. There's no outlet, and so it was poor game management when losing a man sent off. And I think Arsenal do struggle when they go 10 men. Some teams are compact. They can keep the game and make it harder for you because they're not even want to play. Whereas Arsenal, when they go to 10 men, it seems like they still want to play the same game and play the same way, just with another player less. But they just let teams come onto them. And they get caught on the counter.
You think you're going for?
It's an advantage, Red, isn't it? It's theirs to lose. So
try and take the pressure off you.
No, I'm saying it's theirs to lose. They're 3-1 up. If they lose,
yeah, but your whole
I don't think they can do without Lacazette.
Well, we ain't got Lacazette. Torreira's back, and then they've got no Socrates. So probably Mustafi.
Yeah, that's why you lot won on the weekend. There's no Mustafi.
No Mustafi.
Because I said if Mustafi plays, it's all over, and then he didn't play, and you won.
Young Maitland Niles ran the shirt, and it was right.
But but I think after the game, I was still like, yeah, you lost, cool, but you should still go through. Yeah,
we should, but
even if they score, You lot can get 3. You
But
can.
it's the mentality. Like it's the mentality.
And on the back of the Man United win.
It's the mentality they have to have on the day. If they come in that game thinking that they should do it or they will do it, then they could do it. I was at the Bartek Borisov game when we were 1-0 down. Was it 1-0?
From the first
leg?
Yeah,
1-0. Alright, bear in mind it's only 1-0, you're at home against Bartek Borisov. But the intensity was there from literally from kick-off. You could see every man was like, we need to start this game strongly. We got the early goal and it just settled us a bit. If we go to the Rennes game and we don't start with that same intensity, it could be a nervy game in Emirates. And when Emirates does get a bit nervy, then things could start to turn. And listen,
but you haven't got any game on the weekend, have you? So this is your last game.
We ain't got no game until April the 1st. Yeah.
So this is your last game before international break.
Yeah. Apparently we're going to Dubai for a warm weather training.
Ain't the players going international break?
Well, because Thursday's the game, right?
Yeah.
So then we have a week and a bit till the international break.
Oh,
Obviously,
okay.
not a lot of our players will be getting international. Probably, out of the squad, maybe a third, if that, will be getting international break. So a majority of our players will probably stay in Dubai and the Newcastle game ain't till the Monday, when the Premier League is on. So we actually got a long little bit of time. But anyway, that's part and parcel. We got to beat Rennes. That's the massive game. Listen, if we get through the Europa League, alright, in that game, it's been a great 2 months. It's been a great 2 months, man. In the top 4 Europa League, going into April, 2 months to go.
It's a tough competition though. Sevilla's still in it. Napoli, Chelsea, Villarreal,
Valencia.
Wait.
Sevilla's barely still in it.
Yeah,
they drew 2-2 at home, innit? Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be. That's a dogfight, that competition. I mean, the Champions League's not easy either, but
listen, as it stands right now, the Premier League is easier to finish than
get the top 4.
For Arsenal to get to the top 4.
But equally for Man United, easier to get in top 4 than it is to win the Champions
Yeah, of course.
League.
I'm saying, but from Arsenal's point of view, looking at that. So if we lose to Rennes, it's not all doom and gloom because we can still get into the top.
Yeah.
And the aim in the season is to get in the Champions League. Of course, you'd love to win the Europa League and get a trophy, but like if we lose to Rennes, we have no Thursday night game, and then we can literally just focus on these 8 games and job done in terms of Emery's role with the season. Maybe even a top 3 finish, and then you're thinking
next season title challenge.
Yeah. Well, all I'm saying is that we'll look back at this year in 2 years and think, you know what? Well, Arsenal title challenges in that year. They weren't too bad, finishing 3rd in that season.
Stop that.
As we were when Leicester won the Premier League.
That's one for the statisticians like 50 years later when no one's actually seen the season.